All right, another Rambletron. As you can see, the motor is in the car, and the situation is it's just got a couple of bolts holding it in there, and torque converter is not hooked up. So that was a major fiasco. The intake and the front alternator gear is on there just temporarily, just mocked up just to see what's going on. So the gist of it is obviously the stock, truck accessories, which you probably already know, are going to be sticking, way out of the hood. Which I pretty much knew, and I'll have another video on the, you basically got to buy the Camaro brackets and or use the Camaro balancer, which I don't have, but you can extend out, and that's probably what I'm going to do. This is, like I said in the other videos, the first pass. Get the motor in there, get it running. Other videos will probably talk about I had to send the, rip the motor apart, send it in, get the cam bearings fixed. So I re-ringed it, probably on another video. And but the good news is that it will fit. And real quick, try to do, show basically where the placement is with that plate, and where you got to have the, the bolts, and of course it's got these little chump bolts in there right now, and you can see the Moroso mounts are a little twisted. I should have unbolted the rear transmission mount, the 2/5/8 bolts, before I did all this, and that would have helped out a little bit. But I did have some, fitment issues with the Moroso brackets hooking up to the plates, which I'll have in the description I used. And I basically had to waller out the holes on that. That was a major pain in the ass. But, the motor is in there now. And you could barely see it, probably can't. I tapped out, drilled and tapped out the hole for the bolt, tranny bolt, to at least hold the dipstick tube in place. The bolt's not in there right now. So this just kind of gives you a rough estimate. People that are going to be dealing with this kind of thing, what you're looking at. I'm also using the truck oil pan, as you can see, and quite frankly, everybody kind of knew this. It's low, as you can see right there. So the good news is that there's nothing underneath this motor other than the steering mechanism, and you can get the pan off no problem. And I'll either put a Batwing GM pan on it, or just another LS swap pan. So for people that are going to try to do this, with the research that you're doing, bottom line is the truck accessories and the truck pan are not going to work. I'm not worried about it right now. This is, the first phase, as I've said in the other videos. Just getting a motor in there, 350 horse, get the electronics working, getting the fuel system working. There's a whole bunch of stuff that has to work. and then I'll worry about putting a serious LS motor in here that is, you know, basically putting out about 470 horsepower. This little motor will do fine. Probably change the intake. Main thing is this is what it looks like. It will fit. You ain't gonna be able to go over any bumps if you've got that you know, truck oil pan in there. So I'll have on you know, another video, the fuel system, which I'm mocked up. I've got pictures of it, and it's basically in the tank, ready to go. I only work on the car on the weekends. I'm in Texas and it gets real hot, and as you can see right there, you'll notice that the little 5 1/4 return line is gone, and I drilled that out and put a bulkhead on there with this connector, and I'll have another video and explanation of the Russell parts and all that, and how I rigged it up, and that's what I'm doing. So finally, FedEx and Amazon went through a bunch of crap trying to get the fuel line. Another video, but that's what I'm going to try to do this weekend, is get the tank and get the fuel rail, as you can see way over there, get it hooked up and outside of the car, and bench test the fuel system, putting together the fuel lines, and make sure it doesn't have any leaks. And if that works, then I will slowly try to you know, put everything back together. I've got another knock sensor that also came in the copious amounts of knickknacks that I'm constantly having to buy, and I'll get the other knock sensor in there, which was bad, which was rusted out, which is what probably had some water in there and messed up the cam bearing. And then I can get this intake on permanently. So that's about it for right now. Whole bunch of parts. This is another set of an exhaust off of another car I built. There's the exhaust manifolds for this motor, and I'm going to see if I can't rig some of this up, so when I do get it running, I can run it down to the muffler shop and, you know, get it done right. I'm going to go ahead and take off the AC condenser that's sitting here because it's R12. And I watched another video, and you know, somebody that did an LS swap, and they were complaining about the, you know, R12 being on a you know, R134, you know, system with the new compressor. So I'm not really you know, worried about having air conditioning with the T-top. Main thing is just getting it running and having to deal with, you know, a couple of inches of clearance for the oil pan. Again, Rambletron, gonna get it running, do a couple of burnouts. Once everything is dialed in, then I'll work on replacing the alternator and power steering pump bracket, get that down below, get the intake little shaved up and cleaned off, see if the hood will fit, and then slowly, you know, worry about, you know, the new oil pan. So one more time, if you guys are doing this, and like some other guy told me on one of the YouTube websites, you almost have to have a 2002 Camaro loaner or parts car to do this, because you're really going to need the intake and the brackets and the oil pan. Other than that, getting ready to do burnouts. Thanks a lot.